Hello everyone, welcome to our Juventus Coaching YouTube channel. In this video, we will be going over 7v7 defending in Zone 1. Before we look at some of the tactical concepts, we are going to go over one key element that we want to teach since the very first stages of development, since when our players join U8, U9, and U10 teams. And that is principles of zonal defense. And zonal defense has the ball and the goal as the two main references of defending. So when we teach players defending, the ball and the goal become the two main pillars through which players understand how to defend as an individual and as a team. So we're not going to be the kind of coaches that say, mark, follow the guy, follow the girl, mark. It's pretty common to see at this age group, and it can be somewhat effective at achieving results in the short term. However, we're looking at the long-term picture, and the concept of zonal defending will help players progress both as individual defenders, and it's also going to give them cues and ways to understand the game when they don't have the ball. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the field. We are, as usual, in blue in our 2-3-1 formation, set up against red. In black, you see the soccer ball. In any situation where the other team has the soccer ball, we always want to identify the first defender. And we also want to make sure our players know who the first defender is in pretty much any situation off the ball. And the first defender is the player closest to the opponent who is in possession of the ball. And the first defender has a specific role when we defend. The role of the first defender is to pressure, to deny, and to delay. So if I am the first defender, the person closest to the ball, I have to put pressure on the ball. I have to deny potential shots, potential passes, potential options to the opponent based on the way I'm shaping my body. And I also have to delay, meaning I don't lunge in, I don't step in right away so I get dribbled, but I'm positioning my feet correctly and I'm delaying the opponent's action. This is the role of the first defender. We need to make sure that that is taken care of. Our players know what that means, and they also know how to technically implement the pressure, deny, and delay. And that can be covered in a technical game going over individual defensive technique. After the role of the first defender, we have the concept of pressure and cover. So as one player pressures, in zonal defending, we also want to establish a line of cover. So this is the player pressuring the ball. We want to shift in position and create a line of cover. Why is it called a line of cover? Because as you can see, the players are positioned in a straight line. And these players are offering cover to the first defender. Covering means being in a position to intervene defensively if the first defender gets dribbled or beat. If this defender gets dribbled, the defender in cover can intervene. We mentioned the line of cover. If we look at a situation where this happens in our last line of defending, we want the line of cover to be flat for one specific reason, the offside. If our line of cover is staggered, it offers chances for diagonal runs to the opponent, right? In this position, the player is not offside. Very easy to slip a ball through and send them to goal. However, if we position ourselves in a flat line of cover, we are going to deny a lot of diagonal runs, and we're gonna put this player in a position of offside, okay? So that is why we want to teach our players to position themselves in a line of cover that is flat. Putting our players back in position. again, we have the first defender, pressure, deny, delay, and then we have the pressure cover principle. And we want to make sure our players know and understand what that means. Because again, if one player is dribbling over here and we are on this side of the field, we're not covering anyone. Because if this defender gets dribbled, this player is out. They're not in a position to cover. So you're covering only if you're in a position to intervene. If your teammate gets dribbled. And again, like we were saying before, we are worried about defending the ball and protecting the goal. If the ball is on this side and I'm this winger, this player might be providing width. But as the ball is being played on this side, I am not interested in sticking to this attacker over here. I'm interested in helping my teammates defend the ball and protect the goal. Defend the ball and protect the goal. It's not that we don't care about this guy here or this girl, but if the ball gets switched to this side, we have time to shift. We have time to get there. What happens is if we start going and using other opponents as our main reference to defend, we get dragged all over the pitch and we start giving a lot of space to the opponent. Okay, so again, if the ball is on this side, we want to make sure our players understand. My first job is to defend the ball and to protect the goal. We want to defend the ball, we want to protect the goal. So if the ball is here, okay, I know this player will be there and I keep that in mind, but I'm shifting to helping my teammates protect the goal and defend the ball. One player pressures, the other two cover. And the pressure cover principles doesn't only apply in midfield like I'm showing here, but it can apply even if there is a 2v2 into open goal. Okay, one player steps to pressure, the other player is covering. Even if this player is trying to get wide, if I start moving this way and my teammate gets dribbled, they're going straight to goal. So again, my first two references are defending the ball and protecting the goal. Because again, if this player here chooses to pass, I have time to step in, deny and delay. And my teammate has time to then cover me. However, if I get dragged because I'm trying to mark, and my teammate gets dribbled, they're going straight to goal. One more concept that we want to highlight when it comes to defending in zone 1 is that we want to have our lines compact and we want to reduce the space in between the lines. When we defend, spaces in between the lines and spaces in between us can become dangerous. Opponents that are in possession of the ball can use the spaces in between the lines and the distances between individual defenders as space to attack and hurt us with. Okay, so we always want to make sure that the lines of defending are compact and the distances between players horizontally and vertically on the field are appropriate. If we're spread out and the lines are not compact, you can tell these spaces become dangerous. So we want to make sure when we're defending, our lines are compact and our distances are appropriate. This is especially important, let's say we're advancing up the field in the transition moment, the midfielders are going up, defenders forget, we lose the ball. Okay, now it's a time to squeeze and we want to make sure our lines get compact. So again, the three main tactical principles that we want to highlight when we teach defending in zone 1 for 7v7 is we want to recognize the role of the first defender to pressure, deny, and delay. We want to establish the pressure and cover principle, and we want compact lines. One more addition, we're going to look at individual marking. If we are in a position that we need to mark someone, how can we do that? Again, we use the ball and the goal as a reference. If I'm this blue defender marking this red player. I never want to mark or put myself in a position where I'm only looking at the defender and I'm not looking at the ball. If I'm not looking at the ball, I don't know what's going on. That player might dribble my teammate and score. I also never want to be in a position where I'm only looking at the ball and I'm forgetting or I'm not seeing where my player, my responsibility is. So the solution when I'm marking someone is I need to be in a position where I can see the ball and I can see the player I'm marking. If I see both, I'm in a good position to intervene because I can see my direct opponent, I can see this player, for example, and I can see the ball. If I see both, and you can tell your players, I'm looking at the ball, I'm looking at my opponent. I'm looking at the ball, I'm looking at my opponent. If I can see both, I'm in a good position to mark and intervene. And lastly, to recap, in the technical games, we teach individual defending. How to defend a 1v1, how to pressure, how to position your feet, how to deny, how to delay, how to tackle. In our situational, when we teach concepts of defending, how to defend as a team, we want to make sure we're emphasizing zonal defending with the ball and the goal as our main references. We want to have compact line, short distances, pressure cover, and we want to emphasize that defending is a team effort. We want to do it together. And we try to find fun, engaging, active coaching points that get players excited about that. We can say, let's protect the castle together. Let's defend from the enemy. The goal being the castle. Everyone is participating. Everyone has a role to defend and protect the key area where we don't want our opponents to arrive. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you soon on the field or in another video. Thank you.